Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Eastern Wisdom. Perhaps in the rush of modern life, all of us have at least once suddenly stopped and asked ourselves, am I truly living or merely existing? We wake up each morning, hurry to get ready for work, scroll through hundreds of messages and emails, work nonstop, meet countless people, check off endless to-do lists. Then at night, we barely have enough energy to scroll through our phones for a few minutes before falling asleep. Day after day, it goes on like that. And at some point, amid that relentless pace, a quiet space opens up, and we realize how many days have passed without us ever really touching them. Some people live long lives, yet when they look back, they can count only a few truly deep and complete moments. The rest passes by like a fast-forwarded film, where scenes flash by too quickly to be seen clearly. We've become so used to focusing on the future, hoping for something to happen, or drowning in the past, regretting what's gone, that we forget the present is the only thing we truly have. And in that constant chasing, we lose the ability to live deeply, to feel the simple meanings that life has always offered us. There's a saying, you can live 80 years, but if you repeat the same year 80 times, you haven't really lived. That line startles many people because it touches a truth few dare to face. Most of us live by inertia. We let old habits, familiar routines, social obligations, and silent fears dictate our days. Living like that is like standing by the ocean without ever dipping your feet in. You see the waves, hear their sound, but never feel their coolness. But living deeply and meaningfully each day isn't a privilege for the rich or the idle. It doesn't require quitting your job, traveling the world, or doing something grand. On the contrary, it begins with the smallest things, done with full presence. It's how you drink a cup of tea and truly feel its warmth spreading through you. How you listen to someone without being distracted by your phone. How you watch the evening sky without rushing off. It's when you slow down enough to realize that every day holds moments worth cherishing. I've known people who lived very fast, chasing achievements, money, and what society calls success, until something happened, an illness, a loss, or simply a day when they realized they'd traded away too much of what truly mattered. Only then did they understand that living deeply isn't about doing more, but about doing with awareness, treasuring each experience, big or small. The miracle is, when you live that way, everything becomes clearer, lighter. You realize happiness isn't waiting at the end of the road. It's right here, in every step you take. I too once fell into the trap of living fast. There were times my schedule was packed from dawn until midnight. I measured the value of a day by how many tasks I completed, how many people I met, how many contracts I signed. But one day, while sitting in a cafe, I noticed an old man slowly stirring his coffee, eyes gazing out the window as if nothing in the world was urgent. That moment struck me. How long had it been since I sat still like that, doing nothing but being present? That question led me on a new journey, a journey of learning to live more deeply. You see, to live deeply and meaningfully each day, we don't need to search far. It lies in how we walk, how we listen, how we give, how we spend time, with others and with ourselves. It lives in small, repeated choices that over time form a life we can proudly look back on. On this journey, I want to share with you 5 things that have helped me and many others find depth and meaning in daily life. These aren't lofty secrets, but simple seeds. If you plant them patiently, they will bloom and bear fruit in your life. They'll help you not just exist, but live. Not just pass through time, but let time pass through you fully. And before we begin, make a promise to yourself. For the next few minutes, set everything else aside and be fully present here. Because this very moment, when you truly listen and open your heart, is already your first step toward living more deeply and meaningfully. Let's begin with the first key, the foundation of all depth and meaning in life: slowing down and being present in the moment. You've probably heard the phrase slow living many times. People talk about it in articles, on social media, in self-help books. But slow living isn't a trend or a pretty slogan. It's a way of life, a conscious choice not to be swept away by the fast current of time. To be present in the moment doesn't mean quitting your job, leaving the city, or escaping to the countryside. It simply means allowing your mind to be where your body is, giving your full attention to what's happening now, not running back to the past or rushing toward the future. When you eat, you truly taste each bite. When you talk, you truly listen. When you walk, you feel each step touching the ground. Slowing down and being present doesn't make you fall behind. It helps you move in the right direction. When your mind isn't scattered, you see more clearly what matters and what can be released. Then, every action carries meaning, and every day becomes a memorable part of your journey. If you keep this practice, you'll notice that even in the simplest tasks, washing dishes, brewing coffee, tidying your desk, you can find peace and joy. Because ultimately, life isn't made of rare grand milestones, but of thousands of small, ordinary moments, lived completely. The problem is, we live in an age that glorifies speed. Fast workers are praised, instant responders are valued, multitaskers are admired. We scroll fast, eat fast, talk fast, even love and leave fast. In that rhythm, slow living becomes a luxury, and presence becomes harder than ever. We sit at the dinner table but stare at our phones. We walk while listening to stories from another world. We talk to someone, but our mind is already on the next task. As a result, days pass without us truly living a single moment. Slowing down is a conscious act of stepping out of that race. It's not laziness or procrastination. It's courage. Courage to reject the frantic rhythm of the world and choose your own pace. It's like being on a highway where everyone's speeding at 100 kilometers per hour and you pull over to take a deep breath, look at the sky, then continue. At first, you may feel slower than others, but soon you'll realize you're not being left behind. You're simply walking your own road. Being present is the deeper layer of slow living. It means focusing your full attention on what's happening, not letting your mind wander elsewhere. When you eat, you truly taste. When you listen, you truly hear. When you work, you're fully in it. Many think it's simple, but in truth, our minds are rarely where we are. You might be sitting here, but thinking about this afternoon's meeting, an unread message, or something sad from last week. And when your mind is elsewhere, you miss the moment that's happening, the only moment you can truly live. Let me share a story. I once attended a talk by a photographer who had traveled to over 50 countries. When asked about the most beautiful moment he'd ever captured, he didn't mention a sunrise on a mountain or a sunset by the sea. He spoke of a morning in a small roadside cafe in Italy. He sat there for an hour, just watching the morning light stream through the window, dust floating in the air, cups clinking, people murmuring. He didn't take a single photo, but he said, "That was the moment I was truly there. And I know I'll never forget it." That story made me realize the deepest moments in life aren't when we do great things, but when we are fully present, even in the smallest ones. Slowing down and being present also help us see ourselves more clearly. When you run too fast, you can't hear your inner voice. But when you stop, stay quiet, and become present, you start to notice the feelings and thoughts you once ignored. You recognize whether you're truly happy or just pretending to be fine. You see what you genuinely value and what's draining your energy unnecessarily. That's when you can begin to adjust your life to align with your true nature and values. Some might ask, "But I'm so busy. How can I slow down?" In truth, slow living doesn't require changing your whole schedule. It just asks for awareness in small moments. You can start by, each morning, instead of grabbing your phone, sitting quietly with a glass of water and looking out the window for a few minutes. When walking, keep your phone in your pocket and notice your steps, the wind, the birds. When eating, set your spoon down between bites and really taste your food. When talking, look into the other person's eyes and keep your mind there. These small actions, repeated daily, can change how you experience your entire day. When you're truly present, time seems to slow down. An hour feels longer, deeper, fuller. You remember more vividly, feel more deeply, and interestingly, slowing down doesn't reduce productivity. It often increases it. When your mind isn't scattered, you focus better, finish tasks faster, and have more time to enjoy what you love. Slow living and presence are also forms of healing. In a world full of noise, giving yourself silence and awareness allows your soul to rest. You'll realize you don't always need to react instantly, don't always need to juggle everything at once. You'll see that peace has always been there. You just needed to pause and notice it. That doesn't mean living slowly all the time. There will be moments when you need to act fast, be decisive, move swiftly. But if you can create even a few moments each day to truly slow down and be present, you'll see your whole quality of life transform. So, start today. Don't wait for more free time or a vacation. Right now, try this. Put down your phone, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and feel the air move in and out. Just 1 minute, but if you do it a few times a day, you'll feel a difference. And once you get used to those moments, you'll realize that deep living isn't a faraway destination. It's right here, in every breath, every step, every glance you give to life. If slowing down and being present is the first step toward touching life deeply, then gratitude is what makes those moments warm and meaningful. Because you can be present and still feel empty. But when you're present with gratitude, everything changes. Morning sunlight becomes not just a physical phenomenon, but a gift. A simple meal becomes not just nourishment, but the result of countless hands, from the farmer in the field to the one who prepared it for you. Gratitude is not something that appears only when you encounter great good fortune. It is a state of living, a way of viewing the world in which everything, even the small things, has value for us to cherish. The ancients taught this long ago. In Confucianism, Confucius said, "Tri tuk ya fu, the one who knows sufficiency is rich." Knowing sufficiency here is not only being satisfied with what we have, but also being grateful that we have it. When gratitude is present, you are no longer haunted by what you haven't achieved, but fully enjoy what is already here. The Buddha taught, gratitude and repaying kindness are the foundation of morality. Gratitude helps us break the grasping mind, the mind that always wants more, and nourishes compassion, the mind that considers others. A person grateful to their parents will be filial, grateful to their teachers, respectful, grateful to life, kind-hearted. Every good deed you do from a grateful heart will return to nourish you, like a seed sown in fertile soil sprouting into a wholesome tree. Lao Tzu wrote, "Tri tuk chi tuk, thung tuk." To know that enough is to always have enough. The Taoist view sees gratitude as a way to harmonize with the natural order. No forcing, no resentment, simply flowing with and honoring what comes. One who follows nature remains calm amid change, and gratitude is the bridge that takes us to that calm. Yet in the pace of modern life, gratitude is the easiest thing to forget. We focus more on what we lack than on what we have. We look at the cup and see it half empty, instead of recognizing it is still half full. We receive help and nod a perfunctory thanks, then quickly forget. We eat a delicious meal without thinking of the one who cooked it, without remembering the rain that nourished the rice. And it is precisely this forgetfulness that makes us feel lacking, even when we are surrounded by what is precious. To practice gratitude, you don't need anything complicated. You can begin each morning, as soon as you open your eyes, by thinking of one thing you are grateful for. It might be a friend who has always been there, a healthy body that allows you to work, or simply that you have one more day to live. Before bed, write down 3 good things that happened today. Over time, this will train your mind to seek what is beautiful rather than fixating only on what is negative. I once met an elder over 80 in a rural village. Every morning, he sat on the porch, drank tea, and gazed out over the fields. When I asked what he was thinking, he smiled and said, "I'm just thanking heaven and earth that today I can still see the green of the fields and hear the birds sing." He didn't speak of anything grand, but I sensed in him a peace few young people have. That peace came from being grateful even for the simplest things. Gratitude also helps us view difficulties differently. When you face a challenge, instead of only blaming, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Who stood by me in hard times? In hardship, gratitude is even more precious because it gives us the strength to go on. As the Buddha taught, be grateful for adversity, for through it we grow. You may think, I'm dealing with too many problems. What could I be grateful for? But gratitude does not ask you to deny pain or pretend everything is fine. It only asks you to open a small corner of your mind to see that even in the worst circumstances, something remains worthy of thanks. A friend, a word of encouragement, a rain-free morning so you could get to work. Those seemingly small things, gathered together, become a great source of strength. And when gratitude becomes a habit, you will notice yourself changing. You compare yourself less, resent fate less, feel life is unfair less. You will cherish what you have and know how to nurture it. You will realize that happiness lies not in how much more you acquire, but in how much more grateful you are. Begin today. Write a thank you letter to someone who once helped you, even if many years have passed. Say thank you to the person who cooked your meal, to the colleague who supported you, to life for giving you one more day to love and learn. When you sow gratitude into the world, it will return to you in unexpected ways. Like a Buddhist verse, a grateful heart is the foundation of blessings. The third thing that connects us deeply with others is the strong bond that anchors your life in true meaning. In the end, happiness comes not only from personal achievement, but from relationships filled with love and understanding. We live in an age when connection is technologically easier than ever, yet paradoxically, people feel lonelier than ever. With a click, we can message hundreds, post a photo to thousands. But true presence, wholehearted listening, and deep conversations are so rare they feel like luxuries. Confucianism has long placed Ren, humaneness, at the root of being human. Confucius said, "Renje, I Ren. One who is humane is one who loves others." But love is not empty words. It is presence, care with your whole heart. You may have many friends online, but if there isn't a single person you can turn to when you're vulnerable, that is not real connection. The Buddha taught, all beings exist in mutual dependence. This means none of us exists in isolation. From the rice we eat to the breath we take, everything comes from countless interactions between people and nature. Understanding this, we cherish relationships and learn to nurture them, for they are our most precious spiritual nourishment. Laozi wrote, "The highest good is like water. It always seeks to nourish all things without competing. Deep connection is like water. It nourishes both sides without harming either." When you truly listen and open your heart to someone, you give them not only attention, but a measure of peaceful energy to keep going. Deep connection requires presence and honesty. It cannot form if you chat while glancing at your phone, or listen while your mind is elsewhere. It cannot endure if you show only your best side while hiding all your vulnerabilities. People truly touch one another when they dare to reveal both joy and fear, strength and fragility. A friend of mine, usually quite reserved, once went through a major crisis. She said that during those days, what helped her keep going wasn't advice, but a friend who simply sat beside her, silently holding her hand. They didn't try to solve my problem, but they were there, and I knew I wasn't alone, she said. That is the power of deep connection. You don't need many words, only full presence. To build deep connection, start by truly listening. Listening is not merely staying quiet, it is placing your whole heart in the other's story. Look into their eyes, notice subtle shifts in tone and body language. Ask open-ended questions that invite sharing rather than replying perfunctorily. And most importantly, do not judge. When someone feels safe to share with you, connection has already begun. Along with listening, practice expressing. We often fear showing affection, afraid of rejection, afraid others will think us weak. But in truth, sincerity is what draws people closer. Don't wait for special occasions to say thanks or speak love. Don't hesitate to say, I appreciate you or you matter to me when you truly feel it. Those words can become a great encouragement, sometimes exactly when someone needs it most. Deep connection need not be with many people. A few relationships where you can be yourself, understood and respected, are enough to make your life more complete. Quality matters more than quantity. You don't need to attend every party or appear in every group chat, but you do need people who warm your heart when you think of them. To receive deep connection, you must also give it, as in the Buddhist law of cause and effect. Sow love, and you will reap love. You cannot expect others to open up if you always build walls. Be the one who reaches out, checks in, and makes time for important relationships. When you invest positive energy in a bond, it grows over time and becomes a steady part of your life. Ultimately, when you look back, what makes you smile won't be the money you made or titles you earned, but the moments you truly shared with others. Authentic, profound, and full of humanity. After you've learned to slow down, cultivate gratitude, and build deep connections, there is still one essential element to make your life steady and meaningful. Set aside time for stillness and reflection. If life is a river, stillness is the calm surface where you can see yourself most clearly. In Buddhism, stillness is not meaningless emptiness. It is a mind at rest, not swept away by endless thoughts. The Buddha taught, a mind as still as a lake reflects all things as they are. When the mind is no longer agitated, you see more clearly your true feelings, the root causes of problems, and the wise direction for the future. In modern life, stillness is rare. We often fear silence. When alone, we rush to play music, turn on the TV, scroll our phones, as if quiet space were an uncomfortable void. Because of this, our minds never truly rest. They are constantly filled with noise, information, images, until we can no longer hear the voice within. Buddhist stillness doesn't require hours of meditation, though meditation is effective. It can start with very short, intentional moments. Just 5 minutes each morning. Turn off devices, sit upright, close your eyes, and focus on the breath, feeling each inhale and exhale, the air touching your nose. Just 5 minutes. But if you are truly present, your mind will grow lighter and clearer. Stillness is also time to reflect on the day, not to judge yourself, but to understand yourself better. You might ask, what brought me joy today? What irritated me? How did I respond to difficulty? What could I do differently? Answered in stillness, these questions open many valuable lessons. I once met a monk at a small mountain temple. Each afternoon, after finishing his chores, he would sit on a large rock, look down over the valley, and remain silent for hours. When I asked what he thought about, he smiled. Nothing at all. I just sit and let the mind settle. When it's still enough, answers rise by themselves, like a calm lake revealing its bottom. Simple words, yet profound, because often what we need is not to force solutions, but to be still, so solutions can appear. Making time for stillness also helps us face uncomfortable emotions. Amid noise, we easily run from sadness, fear, or hurt. In stillness, they appear clearly, and we have a chance to hold them, observe them, and watch them dissolve. The Buddha taught that all emotions are impermanent. They come and go like clouds across the sky. Only when we are still can we see this and not be swept away. You don't have to go to a temple or a mountain to find stillness. You can create it at home. Set aside a small corner with a chair, a cushion, a vase, somewhere you can sit quietly for a few minutes each day. Turn off your phone and the TV as well, so the space holds only you and your breath. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, but gradually you'll come to look forward to those moments, because that's when you truly return to yourself. Reflection in stillness doesn't always lead to big decisions. Sometimes it simply helps you realize you're tired and need rest, or that you've been too hard on yourself. Yet these small realizations, accumulated over time, change the way you live. You react less, understand more, and make choices that better align with your true self. In a world that constantly urges you to go faster and do more, making time for stillness is a gentle yet powerful act of resistance. It's when you tell the world and yourself, I won't be swept away. I choose to stop. I choose to listen. When you do, your life gains a new depth, a spacious inner world, ready to receive each experience fully. If you find these ideas helpful, share them with others, or simply save them for when you need them. Perhaps at some moment, they will help someone out there find peace and a new direction for their life. The final element that will lift your life to a new level of meaning is living for a purpose larger than yourself. A life revolving only around me and mine is narrow and easily depleted. You may achieve much and own much, but if it is all to satisfy the individual ego, you will find a void that cannot be filled. Conversely, when you direct your energy and actions towards something beyond personal gain, a goal, a value, a mission, life gains enduring vitality and deeper significance. Living for a greater purpose doesn't mean doing grand things known to the world. It can be a simple yet worthy purpose. Raising your children to be kind, protecting the environment in your neighborhood, helping the vulnerable find opportunity, or simply bringing joy to those you meet each day. Such a purpose need not be flashy, only large enough for you to feel part of something more beautiful and important than yourself. I once heard a story about a man who worked as a janitor in a hospital. When asked about his job, he didn't say, I just sweep floors. He said, I help keep the hospital clean so patients can be treated in the best environment. I contribute to saving lives. That is the power of a purpose larger than oneself. It turns ordinary work into part of something extraordinary. When you live for something beyond personal benefit, you gain the strength to overcome fatigue and hardship. On pressured days, instead of asking, why must I do this? You remember for whom and for what you are doing it. That meaning becomes the motivation that gets you up in the morning, even when it isn't easy. In Buddhism, this is the bodhisattva spirit, living and acting not only for one's own liberation, but to help all beings. One with a bodhisattva heart doesn't calculate personal gains and losses, but sees others' joy and peace as part of their own happiness. Of course, not everyone can live fully as a bodhisattva, but each of us can cultivate some measure of that spirit in daily life. Ask yourself, if I had only 1 year left to live, what would I want to leave this world? The answer may surprise you, and often has little to do with money or fame. It might be a beautiful memory for your family, a positive impact on your community, or simply a kind imprint in a few hearts. Living for a purpose larger than yourself also brings a special peace. When your mind turns towards serving something higher, comparisons and rivalries shrink. You no longer need to outdo others because you know you're on a path with its own meaning. On that path, every step you take and every task you do helps make the world, even just a small corner of it, a better place. The 5 practices that make life deeper and more meaningful are not rigid rules, but pathways toward a more fulfilled existence. You needn't change everything at once. Just choose one and begin today. Once it feels natural, add the second, then the third. And one day, you'll realize you're living a life in which every moment is precious and every day is worth remembering. Life is short, and none of us knows how much time we have. So live so that when you look back, you can smile and say, I truly lived. And if you feel what was shared today could help someone, pass it on. Perhaps it will be the most meaningful gift you give them today. If these reflections offer you a new perspective, a small inspiration to slow down and cherish each moment, please click like and subscribe so we can continue to journey together through what's meaningful ahead. Each like and subscription is motivation to bring more thoughtful, valuable content to you. Thank you for spending your precious time listening. Among countless choices, your staying until the end is truly appreciated. May you keep peace in your heart, clarity in your decisions, and find joy in each step you take. Whatever today looks like, trust that tomorrow can be brighter, so long as you have enough faith and love to continue.